Okay, so last week I binged Atlanta season 2. So I am halfway through the series. I haven't started season 3 yet. Probably not today, but I'll probably try to start it tomorrow or Wednesday. Overall, I loved it, and I think I liked it a bit more than season 1. And if you saw the last video, I really liked season 1. I think it's just some of the individual episodes in season 2 kind of hit a little bit harder, or were just like that much funnier, or just that much more memorable. There's still some great episodes in season 1. Like, I love the Bieber episode. I love the fucking like TV broadcast episode of the fucking Dodge Challenger commercial. Was it the Dodge Challenger or the Dodge Charger? I don't remember which, but the fucking car commercials. Season 1 is great. I like season 2 a little bit more. And like how season 1, to me, the big theme of the show was it's all about hustle and doing what you can to get ahead, but also doing what you can to meet like your minimum basic requirement to be fucking happy as a person. And that is still the big theme of season 2. But I know, and this was also a theme in season 1 that I addressed a little bit. There's also this big, this emphasis on respect and earning respect and needing to get respect. And part of the hustle is getting to be happy, but also earning people's respect. So I kind of divided this video into multiple sections. There's me just talking about different moments in the season that were all about like the hustle aspect, parts of the season that were all about the respect aspect, parts of the season that were just fucking weird because Atlanta is still this bizarro show. And again, while there's a lot of that in season 1, there's also quite a bit of that here in season 2. And then just some other observations I had throughout the season. So starting with some of the hustles, the first big thing is that it's robbing season. It's something that they talk about where, because it's getting close to Christmas and people are getting more desperate, you're going to be seeing a lot more robberies. You're going to be seeing a lot more theft. The season starts with these two dudes. I don't remember if it was specifically a McDonald's or if it was like an Atlanta specific like fast food place, but an armed robbery of a fast food place where an innocent bystander ends up getting shot. Alfred ends up getting robbed by a friend of his. I don't remember if Alfred was buying the weed or selling the weed, but the dude pulls a gun on him and is like, I don't really want to do this, man, but I kind of got to do it. And it's a fucked up scene, but they also managed to make it kind of funny. Like, Alfred's trying to get out of the car after handing the shit over, but the dude has, like, the child locks on, so he can't get out of the car. He's like, hey, man, can you also just give me your keys? You know, I don't want you to follow after me. Like, I don't want to do this. I'm sorry, man. Stop telling me you're sorry. You're fucking robbing me at gunpoint, man. Like, fuck you. There's that. And then in another episode, I believe this was in Woods, which was a fantastic fucking episode, Alfred is by himself, and he ends up getting jumped by people who seem like they're fans, but then they pull a gun on him, and he's trying to fight him off. They're beating the shit out of him. He ends up running from them. I think they did actually steal from him, because I think they were able to get his watch. There was that. One thing you see throughout the entire season is someone talking to Alfred and begging him for a come-up. Like, hey, man, I got some songs too. I got a mixtape too. Maybe you could play that for me. Like, I think Bibby's son, fucking Bibby was so funny. I think Bibby's son was asking for a come up. There were other people as well. There's when he's talking to the weed dealer, and one of the weed dealers like takes a selfie with Alfred and Derry. So it's like, man, dude, I took a selfie with Batman and Bruce Wayne. This is crazy. Paperboy and Alfred in the same room? Yeah! With Alfred and Darius, and then they go inside and talk to the weed dude's partner, and he seems like he's super chill. It's like, yeah, like, I like your music. I like weed and shit too. Give me your number. We can, like, figure shit out, like, for better deals. And the first thing that dude does is he sends Alfred his girlfriend doing an acoustic cover of Paperboy, gives the girlfriend Alfred's number, and is like, hey, maybe we should all hang out and do shit. Alfred's like, I don't want to deal with this. I just don't. Fucking Tracy. So next thing I have is Tracy and the gift cards. I loved Tracy. This dude was so funny. But, Ern finally gets his money from the dogs, and it was like $4K or something. And Tracy was pretty much telling him, I can double your money through like some scheme. I didn't really understand it. It was something to do with, like, if you put the money on a gift card, I can do some bullshit to double the money. But then was like, oh shit, they found out you only have a few minutes until your card is done, so Ern didn't get to spend all his money. Speaking of which, you have Ern as Alfred's manager when they're doing the, like, spring fling or whatever concert. Is specifically, he is trying to hustle because he is trying to save money by cutting corners. Like, hey, instead of a hotel, we can just meet a fan and stay over at her place. And Alfred's like, this feels really sketchy. I don't like this. And Darius is like, this is sketchy as fuck. And even Tracy's like, this is sketchy as fuck. Ern doesn't listen, and it ends up being sketchy as fuck because she was nuts. We've got, it was the Champagne Poppy episode where Vanessa and her friends go to a party because they think Drake is going to be there, where they could, like, take pictures of Drake. So in this, you've got Van is trying to hustle because she wants to take a picture with Drake to pretty much, like, say fuck you to Ern, like, after their relationship kind of breaks down. Just talk about that more when I get to the respect section. Like, what a fucking episode that was, too. Is wants to take a picture with Drake to kind of, increase her social standing, or the way that she's viewed, at least, and how, like, Ern would view her. Like, I'm doing just fine without you. At least that's kind of how I felt. But then it turns out Drake isn't there, and it's this literal cardboard cutout of Drake, and people are hustling with that. Like, all right, this is how much it costs. There's the line. If you do this, you get to take a picture with Drake, and people are going to be fooled, and your Instagram followers are going to go up, your social status is going to go up, the hustle continues. Right now, we're in the Kendrick Drake beef era, and I'm sorry, just be like, yeah, I watched, like, a whole episode about Drake, and then 2 days later, all this shit happened. It's kind of funny in hindsight. This is a hustle thing. You can argue it's kind of a respect thing, too, but there's a few episodes throughout the season where people are talking to Alfred and essentially telling him, maybe Ern shouldn't be your manager. You are an up-and-coming artist. You're in you're a really important stage of your career where you need to, like, really be maximizing your exposure, your deals. I don't remember Clark's name, which I know sounds really stupid because his name was Clark, but, like, I don't remember what his stage name is. But he's another, like, big rapper who has all these endorsements, and he's like, yeah, dude, like, endorsements are huge. Your manager should be getting shit for you. Alfred's girl is talking to, I think her name is Sierra, and he's like, yeah, your manager should be getting you free shit. He should be able to swing that for you, or, like, turn it into an endorsement deal. Why isn't he doing this shit? Your manager is not doing a good job. And I feel like you can argue that's maybe Alfred, in a way, is almost disrespected by his manager not doing enough. You could argue that's also part of the hustle. Like, this is a business. It's like what we were talking about with Zan in season 1. You are exploiting your life and your situation to get famous, and I am exploiting your exploitation so I can get famous. It's all part of the game. We're like this Ouroboros of exploitation. And there is a point where he's like, Ern, I'm going to be honest, I've been talking to other people. You're my cousin, and your family, I want to rock with you. But I don't know if this is what I need. And the vibe I got, and it's something you get from other episodes too, is Alfred is going to take care of Ern. That is family. Like, I even said, it's, you're my cousin. I want this to be a partnership because you are family and I care about you. If it doesn't work, and I think I can do better with my manager, I still want to take care of you because you're my guy. But we'll see how it goes. There was that, even Teddy Perkins, the weird-ass fucking bizarro, even for Atlanta, bizarro episode that it is, and it is fantastic. Even he's got some hustle going on with this whole thing being, it's like, an exploitation. I want to exploit pain and tragedy to create art. And by killing Darius, that is tragedy. It's like, yeah, I'm going to try to do an impression of Teddy Perkins. It's this very breathless, airy voice, and he looks like this fusion dance between white Michael Jackson and Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka, and it's terrifying, and I love it. What is it? Because, like, Darius has a fire poker. He's like, no, keep the poker. It'll make it look more real. You're a crazed fan of Benny. You're obsessed, and I had to kill you in self-defense. But it's okay, Darius. From your sacrifice, you'll be the... it's like, well, fuck, what is it? It's like, there can be no art without sacrifice, without pain. And through your sacrifice, there will be great art. Even that's like some hustle. And I don't know if the whole thing with the piano was like a major hustle. It's like, I am trying to lure someone over here so I can kill them. Or if, like, he was actually interested in selling the piano, and then from talking to Darius, he's like, okay, I see an angle here, and I'm gonna take it. I really don't know. I don't know what the fuck I think of this character. Like, we'll get to Teddy when we get to Teddy. Another example of hustle is just everything Bibby does. The way he's got, like, multiple relationships at once. I think it's like he has a wife, he has a side chick, I think he has another side chick. At one point he mentioned, I think it's like the first line out of his mouth, he's like, I didn't know she wasn't 18, it's called a quinceañera. Like, that sounds 18. She had, like, a wedding dress on. It's like, oh my god, that's so bad. And the fact that, he's got this job that he's doing as the barber. He's got another thing as a construction guy, which is also kind of bullshit. I think there was a third thing he was doing on the side. Bibby was hilarious. Like, Barbershop was as great as Teddy Perkins is. I think Barbershop was my favorite episode of the season because of just how consistently fucking funny it was. But this character was all about hustle. Like, the scene when he's talking to his girl, and she's like, okay, why does he have a cape on? And talking about Alfred, because they just came from the barbershop. Like, baby, he's a magician. That's why he's got a cape on. I was cracking up during that scene. Like, the entire episode was gold. Dude gets into a car wreck. Nah, just fucking leaves. And I feel like, to me, like, the last major aspect of hustle, at least that I can think of, is the gun. So in the first episode, Willie, which I believe is Alfred's dad, Ern's uncle, better known as the Alligator Man, gives Ern a gun. It is a golden gun. And part of that is you need to be able to have respect and get it from people, and this is the kind of thing that can help. Also, the cops are kind of about to raid my fucking place, so take this so they don't find my gun. And when they're because at the end of the season, Alfred is going to go on a European tour with Clark. So they're at the airport, and Ern has the gun because he forgot to get rid of it. So he puts it in Clark's bag, and part of that is, I'm gonna just do this, so fuck anybody else. I gotta make sure that I'm okay and my people are okay. Part of the hustle. Part of it is, it was either earlier in the episode or in the previous episode, he was talking to Alfred, and Ern was saying, you should be heading that tour. Like, I know Clark is maybe the bigger name right now, but fuck it, that should be you. So putting the gun in Clark's bag was essentially a way of, like, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to get rid of the gun, and I'm going to get rid of Alfred's competition, so he becomes the headliner. And afterwards, Alfred's talking to him, and this is kind of also a transition to respect again. I saw what you did. I'm not going to say shit. But that's what I want to see. That is the kind of fucking shit I want to see from my manager. You are working for, like, you did something to protect yourself. You didn't just freak out. You didn't start, like, punching shit. You saw a situation and you handled it. And you also did it in a way to kind of try to take advantage of a situation and better me. It's not that I'm saying, like, Clark's a piece of shit and deserves everything he gets, although, like, he treats a sound guy like absolute dog shit. But this is the shit I want to see from my manager. You are my cousin. You are my family. I love that shit, brother. And then we get into respect. So the first big thing for that is just Willie in general. Willie and his principles, like, look, I think you stole money from me, so I'm gonna lock you in a fucking room. I'm not going to let the cops come into my house. Fuck that shit. Here's a gun. You guys need that shit to be able to take care of yourself. I fucking loved Willie. You shout out to Cat. I heard he won an Emmy for this. That's badass as fuck, dude. I love that. Earn gets paid a fuck ton of money. And now that he has this money, he wants to be able to have respect with it. He's like, I want to be able to spend it. I want to be able to take care of Van. Have a nice night out. So they go to a movie theater. And he's specifically trying to spend his money in hundreds. I didn't like to be flashy with it. The theater does not accept his money. Like, nah, we need, we're gonna need like a copy of your driver's license and like your debit card and all that shit. And they're not able to do it. And then some other dude, like a white dude, shows up, is able to pay the 100 with no issue. And then he's also just like clearly carrying a gun, and they don't question that at all. But Earn gets run out. They go to another restaurant, and it might have been a club. It was a restaurant or a club. And the owner's like, this is clearly fake. I'm going to keep this clearly fake bill, and you have to pay me again to actually pay the entrance. And then the cops afterwards are like, yeah, I mean, that was clearly a real dollar bill. We knew that guy was full of shit, but we didn't really step in to defend you there. And then Earn's like, no, I want to spend money. Like, I want to have a day where I can be respected. You know, a place where you can have money and spend it and get respected? The club. So he takes Van and the boys to the strip club. And they're like, hey, this is a dude with a lot of money. Let's rip him off. Like, all right, you want to buy, like, you want the drinks? Well, the drinks come with the table, but the table is like $200 minimum. Oh, like a lap dance, that's 4 seconds. Give me $100. Hey, you just got money. You can tip this dancer. Fine. That's all you're gonna tip her? Come on now, you can do more. Which, I mean, there's hustle in that too. Like, okay, there was a lot of hustle with the club. But it was Earn trying to flash his money around to get respected, and it just didn't work. The end of the episode is outside. Michael Vick is racing people, like, for money, and Earn's like, I'm gonna do this. I need to win. I need to get respect. I am going to race Michael Vick. And then it just like he runs in a freeze frame and it like plays this triumphant music. And then it just cuts to him and Van in the back of the limo because he bought a limo for this. And then Earn just looking super dejected. And Van just stares at him. It's Michael Vick. And then the episode ends. That was gold. I love that joke. It's like, yeah, it's Michael Vick. You do not need to see the race to know how it ended. There's that. Van and Earn's entire relationship in this season boils down to respect. Specifically, Van does not feel like she is respected in the relationship. I believe, what was the episode called? It was like Helen or Miriam, if something like that. They go to, it was like Van's hometown or something, where it's this big, like, Oktoberfest style, like, celebration. And Van is super excited for it. Like, she's speaking German to people. She's dressed up. They've got their traditions. Everyone's having a good time, and except Earn, who the entire time is just like, I don't want to be here. Like, you remember a Krusty Krab training video and Squidward with the, I really wish I weren't here right now button? That's Earn the entire episode. And what's really interesting to me about it is we've seen in season 1, in the Juneteenth episode, Earn can put up appearances for Van. He can say, I don't want to be here. I think this is weird, but I understand this is important to you, and I'm going to do it. And here he just doesn't. He puts forth, like, no effort. Van at one point's like, I want to go dancing. He's like, I don't want to. There's ping pong. Do you want to play ping pong? So they play ping pong, and Van kicks his ass. He's like, well, now I don't want to do anything. So just go. I don't care. He's so unlikable the entire episode. And it gets to the end where Van's like, okay, I'm tired. And we need to talk about a relationship. So they play ping pong over their relationship. And while you don't see who won, it feels that, like, yeah, Van won this. Their relationship, again, like, their relationship is always kind of off and on and complicated. I think it was like, she asks him, what do you want? And he's like, I don't know, but I feel like I'm good with what we have. And Van was saying, I don't want to, like, I want to be an equal partner. I don't want to be someone's accessory. I don't feel respected in this relationship, and everything you're doing today is proving to me you don't respect me. He's like, look, like, we had a good time when we went out the other day. I took you out to the club. Ern, you took me to a fucking strip club. You think I want to sit there and get a lap dance and look at titties all day? No, that doesn't make any sense. Like, we did the thing, like, when we did the thing you wanted to do that I had no interest in, I still went to have a good time with you. And now that we're doing the thing that I want to do and you have no interest in, you're being a fucking asshole. And yeah, I mean, I think she's 100% correct in this episode. Like I said, Ern was super unlikable. It's all about respect. There's a scene at the end of Woods, because throughout this season, and you see it last season as well, Alfred is at odds with being a celebrity. Like the lemon pepper what? It's like they get this great wing and wing sauce, but he's very clearly uncomfortable with the expectations people are now putting on him and the fact that he's famous and people are coming up to him like they want to come up, they want to pick. He's like, I don't do that. I don't like being in pictures. I don't like people taking pictures of me and trying to use me and hustle me for their own status. But after this episode, and getting into a fight with his girl, getting jumped, getting attacked by a dude in the woods, getting lost in the woods, he meets up with a fan. He's like, hey, are you Paperboy? Yeah, man. You want a picture? So they take a couple pictures together. And it's a very small scene. It is one of my favorite scenes in the season, though. It is just this moment of him going, if I am, like, because there's also, what did the dude in the woods say? I don't remember. It was something along the lines of, like, you don't realize how much time you have or don't have, so you need to use it. You need to maximize that time. Because if you don't, it'll just go right past you. Like, if you don't appreciate your life, I'll fucking take it from you right now. They do it like a box cutter up to his throat. It's like, yeah, I'll give you to the count of 30, and if you're still in my woods, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And the dude doesn't know how to fucking count correctly. Or alternatively, he did. It was like, I am giving you an out, man. Take it. And it seems like that day really stuck with him. He's like, okay, let me actively try and maximize this. Like, okay, if I have fans, let me try to cultivate a relationship with them. And it seems like after that was, I've been talking to people, Ern, about doing what I can for my brand, and maybe that means getting a new manager and then going on tour and all that. Like, I feel like Woods was not just a really good episode. It feels like it was really, really important for Alfred. That's right. Ern getting into a fight with Tracy. So after all the shit that went wrong in the spring fling thing, which is, so Ern doesn't like Tracy because of the gift card shenanigans, and also he's like, oh, Tracy's just living over here. I could have done that. I was going to ask to do that. Fuck, because he got kicked out of the storage unit because we can't have good things in between seasons. I'm going to put a pin in that. I'm going to put a BoJack Horseman size pin in there. It was kind of funny how that came about. After all the shit goes wrong, it's like the reason that things escalated with the girl they were staying with is because, like, it was a bad situation. Tracy made it worse. And Ern's like, I want to fight Tracy. Like, Alfred, pull over. I'm going to fight him right now. And everyone's like, no, what are you doing? And Tracy thinks it's a show. He's like, no, pull the fucking car over so I can beat his ass. So they pull over, and on the side of the road, Tracy's still like, what are you doing, man? And no, Ern's going for it, and Ern gets his ass beat. It was like, it's kind of like the Michael Vick thing. It's like, I need a win. I need respect from people, and he just can't get it. Then you have the entirety of FUBU. This was a flashback episode with Ern and Alfred as kids. And what it shows, is that Alfred always cares about his family. He always takes care of his people. Because the whole plot of the episode is there's two people with a FUBU shirt, and the two shirts are different. There's Ern's and this other kid's. I don't remember the name of the other. I think it was like Dennis or some shit. And no one's sure which shirt is real, which shirt is fake. And Ern's like, I'm really worried that mine's the fake one. And if I go to school with a fake shirt, everyone's just going to shit on me. And there's this one kid, and this is the kid that can tell something is real or fake, and he looks at both shirts, and he's like, no, Ernst is fake as fuck. Then Alfred comes up, he's like, let me see that shit. No, Ernst is the legit one. Here's why. Fuck you. Your opinion doesn't matter. That kid is the fake. It is him. It is Ernst the entire episode trying to get respect with his nice shirt, that being taken away from him, and his cousin coming in and saying, I fucking got you. I am going to do what I can to get you respect. And at the end of the episode, the next day at school, a teacher comes in and says, hey, that other kid killed himself. He was not doing well at home. His parents were getting divorced. And then apparently there was some bullying going on because now everyone's bullying him about his fake shirt. This is a tragedy, blah, 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 blah. And it's... that episode really there was the hustle element. You see, Alfred as a kid, he's, hustling this other kid, out of his calculator and shit. It was an episode all about respect and how Ernst throughout his entire life has felt disrespected. It is constantly trying to fight for it, and he just keeps getting kicked down at every possible opportunity. But his cousin will always, maybe not all will always be, but his cousin from the beginning has said, you're my guy, and I'm going to do what I can to take care of my people. So now we're going to move into just some of the weird shit in the season. Willie has a fucking pet alligator. That's why they call him the Alligator Man. It's just in a room somewhere. And yeah, and at the end of the episode, it walks off and walks out onto the lawn. And it's so funny. You've got Darius and Ernst talking about Florida Man. And, when you think it's Florida Man does blah, 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 blah. It's man from Florida does this shit. Darius interprets that as Florida Man is this nameless domestic terrorist who lives in Florida and does crazy shit. And then later, Willie is kind of supplements that, and it's so funny. Darius's line when he meets Willie is I'd like to say it's nice to meet you, but I don't believe in the concept of time, so I'd rather just say we've always met. And Willie gives him this look what the fuck did you just smoke today? It is one of my favorite lines. There's another scene when Nadine, who is one of Van's friends at the Drake party, is blazed out of her mind and is super paranoid. She's talking to Darius, and Darius is yeah, we're all in a simulation. You're not real. You don't matter. There's a scene in the spring fling episode where they go to a frat house to get some weed, and the guys in the frat are oh shit, it's Paperboy. Yeah, you can smoke with us, you can come in, and they're in the middle of a hazing ritual. So they're in a room with a fucking Confederate flag plastered onto the back of the wall. And these college guys who are completely naked aside from a fucking pack over their head. And one of the dudes, one of the guys running the frat, he's blazed out of his mind. And it's there was this one song I used to fuck with. This was it. And he starts playing that, girls say the Laffy Taffy, the Laffy Taffy. And then he tells the frat house dudes to start dancing to it. So you see these naked dudes with their blurry dicks out just dancing to Laffy Taffy. I was fucking dying when I saw that. It was so funny. You had that shit, and you can't talk about season 2 and weirdness without bringing up Teddy Perkins. The way he talks, the way he looks. What was this, a soft-boiled ostrich egg, which he's, hitting with a fucking hammer so he can start eating it. At one point, Darius asks for some more. He's when you have time, can you please get Darius some water? And Darius is hey, is your maid gonna come get me? Oh, I don't have any maids or servants. It's a reminder for myself. Ah, you wanted some water. Let me go get it. He has a memorial at the bottom of his house because he's trying to turn it into a museum for the musician Benny Hope that Teddy says is his brother. And I don't know what the fuck to believe. There's a chance that everything Teddy says is true. He is Theodore Perkins. His brother is Benny Hope. Benny has this really bad skin condition where he can't go outside. Their father was an incredibly strict, abusive man who said, my children are going to be artists, come hell or high water. And as kids, they hated him. And as an adult, Teddy is like, I can appreciate what my father did. He was harsh. He was strict. He was, Spartan. But he made us, or at least Benny, into an artist. And without that pain, without that sacrifice, there is no art. There's also a chance that Teddy is the dad, and that's why he's so gung-ho about fathers, and that Benny is actually Benny. He's like, I am going to make sure that my son can grow. I'm gonna keep putting him through great pain and tragedy and trauma so he can keep making music. It is possible that Teddy is Benny, who has gone through all this shit as a kid, and then he found success, and then his skin condition happened, and now he can't go outside anymore. And it tears him up. And the person that is Benny is his dad. And this is how he's taking revenge on his father for everything that he's done. But he still wants to create music. And he's like, I hate what my father did to me. Not just the abuse, but now I believe that I need trauma and pain and sacrifice to create art. So I have to fucking kill a dude to be able to get that. It's wild. It's weird. And it's great. So now my other observations, I'm going to take the BoJack pin out. So while watching the first episode, specifically, season 1 ends slightly hopeful with Ern. He's like, I got a place to stay. It's not great, but it is what it is. I'm figuring shit out. And then you start the next episode where he's getting evicted from the storage unit. From what I remember, I don't even remember what happened with Van. Maybe there was no Van in that episode. Alfred and Darius are beefing. There's family drama going on with all the shit with Willie. I'm like, this is a lot. It was still a great episode. Don't get me wrong. It was one of my favorite episodes of the season. I'm like, wow, we went from really hopeful to fuck you. There is no hope anywhere in the world. This feels like BoJack, where almost any season of BoJack Horseman ends with, I have had this revelation about myself. I'm going to be better. I genuinely believe I can be better. And then that shit just doesn't happen. Am I just in for another BoJack Horseman? I mean, it's a great show, but fuck, man. And then literally in the next episode, there's a scene when Tracy is talking to Ern about BoJack. He does not call it out by name. He's like, yeah, but after all the shit that he's done, I don't even know if I feel bad for this horse anymore. I'm like, bruh. They literally just compare the show to BoJack Horseman, and then the next episode they address that. What the hell? Also, I don't know where else to put this, but in the first episode, there's this scene when Ern asks Darius what flavor is a Flamin' Hot Cheeto, and he just says, I don't know, hot? And Ern has this look on his face with, yeah, I can definitely taste hot. It's just a really funny scene. There's that. He and Van talk about caught red-handed. You're like, maybe that's a racist term with a racist origin. You're Native American, you're caught red-handed. Yeah, that is fucking racist. Wait, is that actually the origin? And I looked it up. I was like, okay, I have to know. Apparently it is a Scottish phrase of being caught red-handed. It's the blood is still on your hand. I was like, okay, that was an interesting little history lesson I gave myself. Thanks, Atlanta. Again, I don't know where else to put this. Maybe this is a hustle or a respect thing. But there's an episode, I think it's episode 3, I don't know. It starts with an Instagram story, several stories of this white woman talking I was driving my daughter home from school. And she loves the, new hits hip-hop channel. So I played it for her. And they played this Paperboy song. And I'm going to read you the lyrics. These are not my words. Believe me. But these are the words that my daughter was hearing. And she, is crying while reading the lyrics. And I'm crying, too, because it's the funniest shit. I was laughing so hard throughout that scene. I think at one, the last thing she reads was, shout out Colin Kaepernick. And then you like cut to her and Alfred and Darius, I think like at the pool hall, just like cracking up. It was so good. The ending to Barbershop. So the entirety of Barbershop is Alfred just wants to get his hair cut. But his barber is he's got like all this other crazy shit to do. So Alfred gets shanghaied along with it because he just needs his hair cut. This is the one dude he trusts. He knows this guy will give him what he needs. He's willing to put up with a bunch of shit. At the end of the episode, he walks back into the barber shop and goes and sits in another barber's chair and just stares down his barber like, nah, you fucked up. You lost a customer. And then the new barber's like, all right, man, what do you need? What do you want? And Alfred is just like the usual. Oh, shit. You're not my usual guy, so that doesn't mean anything. Now I actually have to think about what I want and what I need instead of just relying on routine and trust. Huh. Maybe this was a mistake. And I feel like it's... like, I think it's why the episode is my favorite of the season. Like, as consistently funny and just bizarre as the episode is, the ending kind of justifies all of it, and I think it makes the episode that much funnier. Oh yeah, like the music, specifically like the instrumentals in both Barbershop and Woods, I noticed in particular were like really good. I was like kind of jamming to like these like piano riffs, and there was a line, I think it was in the last episode that I wrote down that I really liked. It was someone was talking to Ern. I don't remember who it was. I don't think it was Darius. Maybe it was. They were telling him learning required, like, you know, they were talking about like him and his job. It's like, you know, you are trying to be his manager. And I think it was Darius. He's like, you are doing what you can as his manager. And Alfred's kind of giving you a long leash for that because, you know, you're family and he cares about you. But learning requires failure. And the issue, and like the problem is neither of you two can really afford to fail. And that kind of really stuck with me as I was watching. It's like, that is kind of like a big thing in Atlanta, you know, about hustle and respect. Like to get better at what you're doing, you have to be able to learn, and to learn, you have to fail. So that's how you know, oh, this is what happens if I do this. I should have done this instead, or this is how you get better from it. This is how you recover from it. But there's times when you just can't afford to fail. That was season 2. Season 2 was great. Absolutely loved it. Like I said, can't wait to start season 3. That'll probably be tomorrow, depending how busy tomorrow is, maybe Wednesday. Definitely excited to watch more Atlanta.